Hello folks, we're on the Barren Brook, a tributary to the West Branch St. Mary's, and this is actually the site of one of our acid rain mitigation projects where we've been spreading agricultural lime over subcatchments of this watershed. Last year we did 60 hectares and we're hoping to do about that much again this year. As a result of historical emissions and acid rain, and also an underlying geology that is quite rich in heavy metals and is slightly acidic, the water in this watershed is not where it needs to be for optimal Atlantic salmon production. But it is recovering, and with our acid rain mitigation projects, we should help speed that along. I also thought I would do just a quick highlight of the habitat in this system. It's gravel, cobble substrate. There's some really nice spawning habitat forming in here, and the channel is narrowing. And despite being in an area of fairly high concentrations of industrial forestry, this river is still recovering in terms of its overall habitat, and that's likely as a result of the stringent riparian zone regulations that are in place for forestry operations in Nova Scotia. And by allowing the river to interact with the floodplain and the riparian zone, and allowing that riparian zone to be wooded or forested, you begin to get the accumulation of large woody debris. And this is one of the most critical processes in the recovery of Atlantic salmon habitat, and also over the long term is going to help improve the water quality, which will help mitigate some of the effects of acid rain in the past. And you can see this maple tree has fallen in. It's been quite damaged, but it's sending up new suckers, this new growth that's perfect for beaver food, deer and moose browse. If there's any moose in the area, that's just prime food for them. And you can see that the gravel is beginning to accumulate below this large woody debris. And on one hand, it's creating spawning habitat, the tail end of this pool. And then on the other hand, it's creating gravel bars, allowing for the deposition on the inside of the turn. And that's narrowing the channel, which will lead to deeper pools, cooler water. And you can see down below here, here's a gravel bar that's really well developed. The gravel's accumulated, vegetation has established, and now look at the width of this channel. 3 meters, and it's 30, 40 centimeters deep. You can see upstream this gap that is between the vegetated bar and the newly forming bar. You can see the channel is quite a bit wider. So over time, as the woody debris continues to influence the channel morphology, this gravel bar should begin to accumulate, vegetate, and then over time we're going to have a much narrower channel, and it's going to be a lot more conducive to Atlantic salmon. And even when you have grass growing, it provides important cover for fish, and it also is a great entryway for terrestrial insects like grasshoppers to end up in the channel and become part of juvenile salmon's diet, as well as brook trout. And you can see that there's an undercut bank forming here. It's kind of a clay type topsoil in this floodplain. But overall, this is a good process. It's creating cover, digging pools, and man, is this water ever dark down here. It's almost dark enough to be, well, it is dark enough to be cover all in of itself. But it won't cool the channel quite like overhead vegetation will. So this is just a quick overview of some of the habitat in the St. Mary's River, or the St. Mary's watershed, that we're restoring. And funding for this project is coming from the Canadian government's Coastal Restoration Fund, the Nova Scotia Salmon Association, the Adopt a Stream program, and also from the St. Mary's River Association. And you can see here, this is a beaver path. So as I pointed up above, there's some new vegetation forming as some of the forest is kind of introduced into the channel, and it'll allow this further recovery of aquatic ecosystems. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks to all our supporters and everybody for watching.